Hello, this is the Realistic Christian. Today I have a story I'd like to tell you. I was in Mexicali a few years ago, with my daughter's school. We were doing like a refurbishing projects on some churches and some homes. Anyway, one day after we worked all day, I went out to see the street vendors that are outside our camp because I wanted to buy a gift for my daughter. Anyway, in one of the booths there, I found a nice silver black, I think it's called hematite cross with a necklace on it. I thought I, this is exactly what I want for my daughter. So I bargained with the street vendor and came up with a price, and I paid it. And I was walking out of the where the street vendors were back to our camp. I was fingering and looking down and go, rats. This is not a cross. This is a crucifix. I just wanted a plain cross. This was a crucifix with Jesus on the other side of it. And anyway, I was tempted to take it back, but these street vendors probably don't make much money, so I thought, I'll just keep it and I'll pry Jesus off the cross once I get it home and before I give it to my daughter. So anyway, several days later we left, and finally it came time for me to give my daughter her gift. And I said, oh, I had to face the music. I had to pry Jesus off the cross. So that actually proved to be no problem, popping Jesus off the cross. I just put a knife blade behind it and was able to pop him off. But what proved to be a problem is, as the question many evangelists ask, what are you going to do with Jesus? That was my problem. What was I going to do with Jesus now? I couldn't have thrown him in the trash. That just sounded terribly wrong. And I didn't know what to do. So I thought, well, you know what I'll do? I'll put him on this little shelf. We had this rickety shelf above the microwave, and it wasn't really attached. I can put him on the edge of the shelf. Somebody will eventually probably bump him. He'll fall to the floor. They'll sweep him up, put him in the trash. That won't be my responsibility. And that sounded like a good plan to me. I didn't want the responsibility of putting Jesus in the trash. So anyway, I put him on the shelf and walked by him day after day after day, and he wasn't going in the trash. And oddly enough, I don't know if superstition or whatever, but this Jesus seemed to be come a little bit alive to me as I walked by him each day. And like the fourth or fifth day when I walked by him, I noticed that his arms were outstretched like this. And they had always been outstretched, but this time they'd always been outstretched but before it was back by the cross, so you really didn't notice it. But this time, it's almost like they were stretching toward me. And I immediately thought about the verse that says, in Matthew 11, where it says, come unto me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, my burden is light. As soon as I thought about that verse, I found that I thought, I could really grow attracted to this type of Jesus. For some reason, my Jesus that I had occupied the preponderance of my mind was the one that says, you must take up your cross daily and follow me. Or you must cut it, if your right hand causes you sin, cut it off. That kind of dominated my mind. But this, it was more of like a taskmaster Jesus. But this Jesus was saying to me, you will find rest for your souls. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. That all of a sudden became very attractive to me. And so I decided that this was the Jesus that I would be focusing on. True, there was verses in the Bible where Jesus seemed to be demanding and taskmaster, but I would deal with those later, and I'd be focusing on this Jesus. The Jesus that said, my yoke is easy, my burden is light, you will find rest for your souls. As I thought about this verse several years later, I realized that this was not even the best part of this verse. The best part of the verse is this. As I strive to be righteous, Jesus is pulling right alongside of me. I'm yoked to him. He's not outside saying, come on, you guys, you can do better, Bill. Come on, let's go. He's pulling alongside of me. He's not behind me with a whip. Let's go, let's go, let's go. He's beside me. You know, and I don't always feel like Jesus is beside me every day in my struggle, but I try to mentally fixate on that verse, that he is beside me. And there's times he doesn't feel beside me, but again, I try to fix on that aspect of the verse. In closing, I'd like to mention one final thing. If you find that in your Christian walk you have no rest for your soul, it may be a problem of your perception of Jesus Christ, just like the one I had. It's incredibly important that we have an accurate view of not only Jesus, but God. And remembering that the created being cannot be more loving than the being that created it. I'm here to acknowledge that at times both Jesus and God can seem far away, but maybe it's during those times that we let Jesus do a little bit more of the pulling for us. Anyway, this is a realistic Christian sign off. And as always, remember, keep the faith. Thank you.